Action.
We are live! Woohoo! Finally! Yeah, here we are. We are going to have an amazing time together. First of all, I am Shahar. We are going to be here with Nashla, my daughter, and we will be talking about how to create your own community and courses, right? So we are just making sure everything is working before we really get started. This is live. This is really live. So if you have questions, you want to share your idea, you want whatever, there is a chat box right there that we are going to get here, and we will be able to answer those questions in real time for you. Okay, I think it's a much better opportunity than just having a webinar where we go through slides and stuff like that, because for by interacting with each other we get to know all the possibilities that you have. This kind of concept of creating communities, and we are going to go into that deeply during this hour. It's very interesting because sometimes one simple topic can generate a whole business around it. And sometimes when we are just at home, thinking about ideas and things like that, we just don't see the big picture. So it's important for you to interact and ask questions. If you don't want to share your idea, that's fine, but interact with us, because we can get better results with that. Our goal here, mine and Nashla's, is really to show you all the possibilities that are out there for you to use your knowledge to generate income. And what I mean income is up to you how much you want to make, because some people just want some extra or just want to validate the topic that they love, and other people want to create a full structure business. And yes, we understand both sides of this equation, and we can talk to you about that. So, hello, Nasha. Are we good here?
We are good.
So, this is Nashla, my partner and my daughter, and I am Shahar. So, before we dive into the topic itself, a little introduction maybe, because maybe you never saw us before, right? So, we've been creating courses daily, I would say, for the last 10 years, correct?
Yes.
We have a company, at least, right? We have a company called Curious Mondo, and we have created really over 500 courses just on that platform alone.
And before Curious Mondo, we were doing online trainings as well.
Yeah, but we've been doing live streaming, as you were seeing right now.
For a long time.
For a very long time, since the beginning. We used to train people on how to sell using the same type of format, right? With Curious Mondo has been 10 years now, and we have had tons of instructors. Not that we have made our courses and sold, we have those too, but we created different topics, business topics, life coaching topics, and all kinds of art in between, correct?
Yes, on the Curious Mondo catalog alone, we have at least 450 courses, at least.
At least, right? And before that, like 20 years ago, when I was in Brazil, if you notice an accent, that's where it's from, and you were very, very young, I was also giving courses for the biggest entrepreneurial agency that we have in that country. And I travel all around the country teaching people marketing skills and selling skills. So we have some experience. Oh, and Buzz Booster has been going on for 20 years.
Buzz Booster, yes, since
where
2004.
We help people position their business and scale their businesses. My expertise is online and in consumer behavior. So one thing we do, and that's why we decided right now to come here and talk about this, is that I'm always looking at how people are behaving and what is the next trend. And we have seen a huge shift in behavior, especially with the younger generations. And I will say millennials, millennials and Gen Zers. Okay, but let's go into this topic. And again, we are live, which means that if you want to interact with us, there is a chat box. I see you're writing there, right? Telling people to ask their questions. So, why can your story become a business? Because many times you have a passion about a subject, and of course somebody has to turn a machine.
To mow the lawn right as we go live.
That's okay. You will be able to hear us. So most of us, we have passions, we have very deep interest on different topics. tell me some of your good topics that you can talk about it, and you have influenced people to go and do the same.
I don't know, but
I
okay.
know.
So, for example, wildlife photography, that is something that I am passionate about.
Yes.
Photography in general, macro photography.
I bet Yellowstone has received several guests that we pump them up like,
Yes.
go to Yellowstone, go to Yellowstone.
During Mother's Day, that's
Yeah.
when you want to go. But all the baby
See?
bison, baby
So
bear,
she's
baby
sharing-
elk, baby everything.
She's sharing her knowledge right now because she's been there many, many times.
What else?
Geocaching.
I do love geocaching.
How many people have we put into that hobby over the years?
Several.
Several,
In
right?
case-
Why? What's geocaching?
It's fun. It's like this little treasure hunt, and there are things hidden all over the world. Little Tupperware, even
Maybe
with,
even in front of your house.
with a log, and it's there. Only the select few know that it's there, but it's a game, and you have to find it. And it's a lot of fun. It's fun to do with the family. It's fun to do with yourself, to explore new locations, to find new places.
It's a great family activity,
Yes.
right? Anything else?
And no, it's really cool. Actually, there has been a geocache in the moon, even. So like it is.
If you
literally
happen to
all
go
over
to the
world.
moon, you can find the geocache.
As far
there.
as interests go, what else, Shahar?
Well,
Business. I mean,
business is a no-brainer. We do that when we're sleeping
it's
as
fun.
well.
Business is fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yep. And for example, I love crafts and arts, and I built a whole business the last 10 years around that.
Yes.
I craft all the time. For example, I made them. They are pipe cleaners. So I can talk about crafts
These
all day long.
look really nice.
They do, right?
So like Shahar,
It's a course we created not too long ago.
yes, like 2
Mhm.
weeks ago.
Yep.
Listen, but as far as arts go, it can be so broad. Like the what it can be as broad as, for example, a university course about art.
Yeah.
But it can also be very specific, right? So like it can be just on pipe cleaners, for example.
I think that's the very important part because it's one of the shifts in behavior we have seen. And we have changed the model of the courses we create as well. Because we are living in a moment where we are all burned out, right? We get so much stimulation during the day, so many bad news during the day that we are all exhausted. It doesn't matter your age. So what is happening now when it comes to learning is that simple is better. And that's very interesting, actually, because when somebody thinks about, oh, I wanted to create a course on what I do, they go and they overthink and they overcomplicated the whole process.
Yes.
Therefore, at the end, they either take 10 years to create a course or they don't sell the course. Or when they do sell the course, there is nothing to scale from that. And what you have to do is some reverse engineering here. You have to simplify to the max. People today, they do not, and write that down because that's one of the most important things we are going to say. No, we are going to say a lot of important things, but they do not want a teacher. They do not want a mentor. They want a guide. So you have today to simplify your message and what you're teaching. Even if it's something complicated that takes hours, you're going to simplify that and deliver in a very easy way to consume.
This is a fundamental shift actually in consumer behavior. And this even for Curious Mondo,
Yeah.
as we mentioned, like people don't necessarily they want to, but they don't think I want to learn necessarily nowadays. I want to take a course.
Yeah.
They want a guide. They want that mentor who will guide them.
Yes. And we have to do in small bites.
Yes.
In very small bites. I want to know if you can listen us okay.
Yes.
Because
And
there's a machine going on.
Should we do questions and comments at the end or as we go? You
Well,
tell me.
let me go 2 more topics here and then we can do all questions that you want. Because I think we just hit one thing that is very important for success. We are not here. It is very important to understand this. People want to simplify, they want a guide. So if you were trained like I was, the traditional teacher, the traditional person that will tell people what to do, period, or even mentoring. I mean, there are many mentoring programs out there. We had ours as well. That you show your experience, that is fine. But as long as you, again, narrow that down to simple bites. It's just, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
And that's what we have to deliver today, one bite at a time. Now, the potential for this is huge because, again, going back to the beginning, most of us, we are passionate about things. Oh, birding. We didn't mention birding.
Bird watching.
We go around looking at the birds and putting on a book which bird that we
It's
saw.
fun.
if there are other people that like that, and you probably have in your network of friends and family, you have at least three people that are interested in the same topic that you are. You already have a business there if you want to. What really happens is that usually we are giving that advice for free. I know you love to do that with geocaching and all the other stuff, right? Because it's just fun to share that. But it can get frustrating because you have put a lot of effort and time and sometimes money into learning this topic, right? And it's just fair that there will be an exchange of value for that. So yes, you can give for free, but you can also charge for that. And that's where communities, and I'm going to all the time saying communities and courses, even though they are two different moments, but that's how you build a business today. Because if you have three people interested in the same topic that you are, and you decide to ask them, she asks for money every single month, and you deliver some type of information or interaction or just belonging, which is very important today because we are living the loneliness epidemic right now. Belonging is becoming more and more important. In fact, there are some statistics that tells us that now the younger generations are moving back to offline just to belong with other real people because we are getting already tired of all the AI and fake stuff that we have online. Okay, have that in mind because you can benefit, for example, if you like geocaching, if you like pickleball, if you teach people how to do taekwondo, those are perfect things for the offline world, but you can have the community online. And as long as you get them to belong, really belong to that community, the cash flow is there. And the second point that I want to stress is that we live in a moment that every single time that you open your phone, you're going to see somebody telling you it's easy to make money with this, right? So you have all the side hustles out there. Let's see some of them. Selling stuff on Amazon, right? Oh, so easy. You just get the used stuff and you put there. When you go and do that, and believe me, I have tested hundreds of them because of clients and because of curiosity, there's a boatload of work involved. I'll give you a simple one. You want to become an influencer or an affiliate in a social media platform, which is a good idea because that is also going to explode in the next year. But it's so simple, right? You record, you talk about what you want, and you put out there, and you're going to make tons of sales. What's the reality?
Crickets.
Crickets. It's not enough if you put people, 1 to 2 videos a day.
Yes.
We are talking about 10 to 50 videos every single day that you have to put, right? The time that you have to spend messaging brands and doing
so
stuff.
Everything is so sexy when you read about it, right? And they'll tell you, oh yeah, you do this, and I just post videos online, But the reality of things is that you have to work so hard and so much
more of your 9 to 5 job,
a lot more, dedicate so much in order to then maybe see some profit, right?
But then you might say, oh, but these things online, I know they are all like, I don't know, the offlines one are really good. Well, what if you go and try to do some DoorDash right now when we have 1 million federal employees in a pickle and a lot of people being laid off? What happens?
Oh yeah, I mean the gig economy, right? Like they call it. Yeah. So yeah, if you do the math, you put it on paper, and you do the DoorDash, and it's like, oh, you can easily bring in $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
You do just $100 a day, But then you don't really have control over how many offers DoorDash is going to give you, how many deliveries, which regions you have to be in. So yeah, sure, these figures, they are technically possible, but they're not as sexy as
some of them having waiting lists. And we were talking about this morning. You put your name there and your number 500
and something for because then let's do the Amazon delivery. Like there's so many different things that you can do.
I mean, you can make some money, no question about that. But as you say all the time, you're putting your destiny on rented land, on places where you have no control whatsoever. You don't control how much you make. You don't control how you get paid. You don't control when you get paid. I'll tell you a thing that is common in affiliate marketing on social media platforms. Sometimes you never get paid because, rules change all the time. And yes, it's possible. 1% of people always succeed in those things. but the other 99 does not. And that is when what I'm talking to you about communities and courses, especially on the platform we are going to offer you for very low investment, you have full control of all the process.
And
And
that is
that makes
critical.
critical and allows you to build a real business,
Exactly.
not a gig.
That makes all the difference, because even there are platforms out there that, for example, will offer communities. And so yeah, you can easily set up and do your own community. But so you have a new community member. How much access do you have to that member? Oh, there are stipulations of how often
Can
you
you
can communicate with
communicate?
them. Do
Mhm.
you can you take them to a different platform and maybe email them or call them or text them? No, not really. They keep that information to them. So when we say rented land, you're really leaving the success of your business on the hands of other people, on the hands of those businesses that will determine whether or not you can or can't do something. Even like Facebook, if you want to have a Facebook group, I have my community Facebook group. Well, if tomorrow Facebook changes the rules or says, hey, we don't like your community,
Yeah, they're just going away with the
that's
community
it.
chats
So
right
all this
now.
time, all this effort that you've put
Goes
into
down the
this
drain.
goes down the drain. It's gone.
But
And that's the fact.
the fact is that for a very long time, you have seen other people have success with this, and you kept waiting for the perfect time, for the
Yeah.
perfect scenario. When you buy a better cell phone, when you buy today is the day that that stops,
Yes.
because that's just your amygdala with fear giving you reasons not to take action. And today's the day we show you the cost of you not taking action, because if you have some information that you can share and you're not sharing, you're leaving somebody else stuck as well.
Yes.
So it's not only you, it's them as well. And today this changes because we are about to show you
That's
how
right.
easily that can go.
Today,
But
this
let's tackle
changes.
some
Well,
questions.
no, not even questions, Shahar. We've got Deanne watching from Missouri. We've got Kathy. Kathy said, I'm passionate about pet portraits and fused glass.
Okay.
Pet portraits on fused glass. Do you think Kathy can have a community?
Well, I can tell you with 100% confidence, certainty, that fused glass is one of the most profitable art forms that you have out there when you want to share your knowledge. You know, in Curious Mondo, we have built a platform with over 500 courses, from fiber to glass, so from very soft to very hard. And we know each audience, how much they are willing to spend. You have audience that are more thrifty, you other audience that they put everything into that passion. Well, fused glass is one of those, that the person that likes the topic will spend and spend and spend. So yes, you have the possibility of a community, you have a possibility of tens of thousands of courses, because even each breed of, remember that we said we simplify everything. You can have one course on each breed, even though it seems that the process is the same. People want that guide that tells me, how do I create one of a French bulldog? How do I create it? What about one full of fur like the sheepdog, right? And so you will change by, okay, long fur, long ears, short ears,
yes,
and stuff like that, because you do not want to make a full course on the topic, because again, you are going to have issues later.
So understand this. Just a few minutes ago, Shahar, you were like, oh, people don't want courses. Well, listen, this is the thing. They do want courses. It's just how we position the courses that will change, right? They want that information. They just want it delivered maybe bite-sized, a little bit differently, and not sold, quote unquote, as a course. And the trick really is combining the two. The community where they gather, where they talk about it, where they discuss, where they grow, and they motivate each other.
They show what they
as
made.
You being their community leader, and then the courses that will provide the information, such as what Shahar is saying. Okay, what type of hair? What type of glass? Oh, is it going to be recycled glass? Is it going to be art glass? Is it going to be long hair? Is it going to be breed specific? So then you can really narrow down and hone in on that passion that now everyone in that community shares.
You have, and the simplicity of what you're teaching, that is the hard part for somebody that has a deep knowledge about something, because we are really, there are studies and there are examples out there that I also belong to see how it goes, that you have full courses and you have a community here and you have hundreds of people here and they never go to the course in itself. Oh, I want to know if I did this right. Here's the link. I want to know if I did it. Here's the picture. So that's why we say, forget teachers, think about guides,
Yes.
because that's what's happening. They will show you what they made, and maybe it's a horrible picture, that they didn't do it well, and you're going to say, I would go this route instead. But I have a video right here that shows the process. So
Yes.
then they have a reason to go. You see? So when we complicate, we also complicate. Oh, I need a studio, and no, grab that.
What, this?
This is really all you need. A tripod that you buy for $10 anywhere,
A phone?
and a phone. And then you put this on a table. You need nice light, which means you can have a window right here that brings the light. And you start recording. Of course, we have a training on that on our community, and you can go in
But
there.
that's it.
But that's all you
Put it
need.
in front of yourself.
And you're done. And then you talk, and you talk for what? 2 or 3 minutes. You go specifically to the topic. Don't waste time talking about yourself, how great you are. If they join your community, they already know you for some reason, right? But when you're teaching, you go straight to the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay, anything else there?
No, Joyce said she's also passionate about glass fusing.
Okay,
Yeah,
see?
there we go.
There's room for everybody.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is. It really does, because it's funny, that topic, it's funny that the topic is here.
And Deanne,
they need more.
Deanne's passionate about making jewelry, sculpting, and her cats.
Well, she needs more than one community, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is very important. A confused mind doesn't take action. And in today's world, like I said, we are all burned out. We are all exhausted. There is no exception. But you see the trend also with the younger generation. And it doesn't matter how old you are. We have here 2 very different generations. You have to understand that the newer generation is going to be your consumer for the next 10 years. If you're selling just to people my age, like baby boomers, we have left 10 years of life, right? According to the American average.
kind of bleak, Shahar.
Well, it is, but the American average believes 77 years. Okay, so if you're healthy, you may have 15. Doesn't mean that's 15 of them consuming. So we have to be looking at, okay, I'm going to sell to the generation that I'm in because it's a no-brainer, but I'm also going to create something that the younger generation wants to consume. And that is when I cannot confuse them in any shape or form. They were raised very different than you were. So they get overwhelmed easier than you do. So you have to simplify. If you have 2 passions, you separate communities. You don't try glass and whatever else. You see, it is very important, because you think, oh, I can't because I can't save. It's easier. I just create one video and talk about both. Not going to work. So don't even start doing that. We need to separate topics all the time and always be thinking, how do I simplify this?
Yes, that's not to say that you can't share with them that you have a passion for cats, but
You can even sell them the other community as well.
yes, exactly. Of course, if it's part of you, of your personality, yeah, it needs to show when you're communicating with them, when you're creating that rapport with them. But in terms of the actual communities that you'll have, let's be specific about the topics. This way, you have a highly specific, highly select group of people who will share that interest and grow with you as their leader. And you can
Yes.
have more than one community.
Yep. Now I'm going to read something because I
Okay.
think these are numbers, so it's good. The
It's good.
creator economy, because the creative economy is just thriving. There is a reason why you see so many people still trying to become influencers, which is harder and harder by the minute. But it's because we all know that this is exploding. And the reason this is exploding is because the AI, right? AI is there and it's creating all kinds of stuff. If you look deeper into even your Facebook, you're going to see that some of the posts that you are seeing today are not made by people. It's made by AI, trying to see what you like and bringing them on. Well, doesn't matter your opinion about that, because we are getting tired of that already. It's being super new, right? The fake stuff. I told Nash, I was on Pinterest the other day. I love going on Pinterest. And I was getting tired of seeing pieces that were generated by AI, therefore almost impossible for you to replicate them. And it's just too annoying. So what is happening, especially with the Z generation, they're getting tired of all this and they are leaving their environment. But what they are going to be paying a lot of attention is to real people that have something to share with them and guide them in the process. So it is a thriving economy. I'm going to read again because I don't want to get the numbers right. Right now, people are
wrong.
all over the world turning in their passions into thriving communities. It is the biggest trend. They are creating spaces where learning, support, and friendship turn into a sustainable income. They aren't celebrities or influencers with millions of followers. We are not looking for the number of followers. It does not matter if you have 5,000 people on Facebook or 100, which is the average, okay? Doesn't matter. They're everyday experts who decided their knowledge was worth sharing, because you have to take one thing into consideration. When you are the influencer, you're thinking about hundreds of thousands and millions. But when you are an expert in about a topic, if you have 10 people paying you and as passionate as you are about that topic, really that's all you need. And here are the numbers. The market size for the creator economy, so us here, $300 billion. This is the creator economy and online learning industry combined. Look at this. Look at this number, 300 billion. Now, if you would like to generate 2,500 a month, that's not huge, right? That's extremely doable. Many of those gigs could even bring you that with a lot more effort, but it could. With just 100 members of $25. Now, if you're in the glass industry, you know $25 doesn't cover any type of workshop, class, whatever, right? So you can go higher.
Glass.
Depending, if you're doing bird watching, then you may have to go lower. Why? Because the fun topics that they want to be with you, because you're the guy or the girl about it, and they want to belong. Maybe you're creating challenges, maybe you're creating meetups, hikes, and stuff like that. They want to belong. The price point is going to be lower. They're not going to be willing to pay a lot.
Because it's in some ways it's hard for you to justify investing, say, $97 a month for a fun little hobby that you do on the side, right?
Yes, yes.
So you have to consider that. But if it's something, for example, that they can in turn make money, or
is a very specific knowledge.
Yes, then okay, yeah, I justify. You know what? I want to specialize in macro photography. It's a deep passion of mine, and I've invested in all these equipment. I've invested in all the kilns and stuff like that. Well, then, yeah, you know what? I need to put that investment into play, and investing in the knowledge that I can use those tools. Then it's definitely worth it, and I can go higher on how much I charge per month.
So write that down. A person that has a irrational passion about something does not consider how much they're spending. Yes. A person that has a irrational passion about a topic does not consider how much they're spending.
Irrational passion.
So they go higher. So 25, 45, no big deal whatsoever. If it is a business opportunity, so something that they can implement and make money right away, then it's even higher than that. Why? Because there's the money part involved. If I learn this, I can. It's easy to
justify their investments.
They justify, exactly. Now, then you have to consider: am I selling mostly to women or to men? Because women usually any price point below 100 is a no-brainer. Above 100 becomes, I need to talk to Honey to see if Honey is okay with that. Okay. Wow, we already gave a lot of deep stuff here. Okay, so, but I have to continue.
But you're basically telling me, Shahar, find the topic of my community, become their leader, essentially.
Yeah.
Find 100 members.
If I'm charging $25,
if I'm charging $25 a month, I could possibly charge more or less, depending on what that if how irrational that passion is.
Yeah.
But if we stick to 25, which is pretty reasonable, I can now have $2,500 a month. Talking and guiding.
That's probably the mortgage.
Talking and guiding on a topic that I am truly passionate about. And so now you're not only making that income, you're also doing it about something that moves you, that moves the needle for you, that you enjoy. You're not sitting in a car doing deliveries for
hours to get $30.
Exactly.
Now, if you, from the beginning, you get the idea that you're going to turn this into a business, not just something that you do on the side. Let's go, you scale over 6 months, for example, to 500 people, still at those $25. How much is that a month? 12,500.
12,500.
That's why I love the numbers.
Wow, we're live.
Wow.
So yeah, that's 500 people. That's a six-figure income at the end of the year. That's
Mhm.
12,500. Is it doable? Yes, 100%.
So a small group of 100 members paying 25 a month, which again, if it's a very specific topic, can be a lot higher than that, is already 2,500 of recurring income, meaning every single month.
There's that. Every single
Yeah.
month. Recurring.
If you're doing the delivery thing, is every single day, rain or shine, snow or not, you're out there hustling to make 30, 40 bucks. And here, well, there is hustle because you will have to find the people to join your community, but think about the recurring income with that.
And
500 members, 12,500 a month,
yes.
right? So look at this. I put this here because I thought it was clever, because sometimes I think I'm clever. Even 30 loyal members can replace a part-time job. What matters most isn't the size of the market, is the size of your impact.
The size of your impact, not the size of the market, the size of your impact.
Because we think, I was inspired. Because really, it is, you think you're not, but sometimes just teaching a hobby to somebody else, that we always say that you never know the backstory behind a person, right? And sometimes they're going through very difficult times. You know, I see with the federal employees, so by law, they are not allowed to have another job.
Correct.
So they spent 30 some days without having any pay. Some people have families, some people have kids.
Well,
all the other layers.
The bills keep coming, right? Regardless if the government is shut down or not.
You just teach that person a hobby. I'm not saying they're going to do anything in business with that. That alone will allow them to calm down, to have their brain buffering, thinking about other things. So much better to be thinking about colors than to be thinking about other things, right? I thought, oh, do I cut this way? Do I cut that way? Just that will decrease the stress, allow the brain to buffer, to go look for solutions to whatever the problem is, and it's mentally healthier for them to be doing that for whatever, an hour or so in their day. So the impact that we cause, it goes into different layers, and we have to have that in mind. It's not just about making money, right? There needs to be that part, because after all, you are trading value, and it's more than fair that you get paid for that. But you have that other side, the impact that you're going to cause.
Yes. Shahar, question from Brenda Helfridge. What about if I love sculpting in many different mediums?
You would be creating many different projects inside your community. So, for example, well, I happen to know you, right? So you could create separate ones for, the ones with glue, the ones that you do with clay and stuff, and it might be a better option.
Are you saying separate projects or separate communities?
Because, for example, people that like to deal with fabric that turns into a sculpture are very, very different, usually as a community, than the people that like polymer clay. Okay? There's another point here for you to verify. The people that deal with fabric, they tend to be more thrifty. They think longer about spending money, and there is only so much money they want to spend. Polymer clay is that deep hole thing that you never know everything about, and you're going to become even better every single day. They spend more. Third thing to consider, Brenda, price points. Here, when you're promoting, and I'm not saying you have to spend money promoting, but you are going at least to spend time promoting. If you're talking to the polymer clay community, for example, is a larger community than the fiber community when I'm talking about sculpting, okay? So you have to think about that. It's going to cost you a lot more, either in money or in time, to talk about two things to two different audiences at the same time. You see? Now, if you're just saying, no, but I work with recycle and fabric, and then I use a little bit of clay, that is fine. Then you could have one. But you always have to think, okay, creating the community is the first step. You will have to keep promoting that, because not magic, it's business. And that can be costly if you're trying to have a big megaphone. getting the word out. We have to narrow in every single aspect. Think about this. The average person doesn't pay attention for more than 3 seconds. The goldfish pays attention for 6 seconds, for you to have an idea. So, which means that when you're doing a video, you grab your phone and do a video and put on TikTok and stuff. The first 3 seconds is what's going to make the thing deal or not deal. And if you're not seeing the image, we are working on that. So 3 seconds is what you have to get their attention. The rest of the video, for example, doesn't matter so much. You're going to do the call to action and stuff like that. But think about this. We have to narrow down and simplify as much as possible in every single thing that you do, including what we have in the community. So I would suggest grab the medium that you love the most and start there. And once you have
Get the
50,
hang of it.
yes, get the hang of it. 50 or to 100 members, start another one. And then some will cross
Yeah.
because they follow you, they don't follow the topic, right? You're becoming a brand.
So like when we talked
you have a
earlier
community.
for DN, like, hey, but that's not to say that you can't mention your cats. You do want to, because just like Shahar said, they will follow you, not necessarily the topic.
Yeah. Right? But to simplify and to cost you less, because time has value, it is your most valuable asset. We keep thinking, I don't want to do ads and spend $10 there. No, what about the time you're
How
spending
about
with
spending
people?
20 hours scrolling to try and
Right?
promote? Like,
Yeah. So think about this. So I would narrow down still.
yes.
Anything else?
I have a specific, a highly specific question from Kathy. I know Kathy's thinking about this. Her wheels are turning. How many videos a month do you need to make for each topic? And let me add to that question. And does it just have to be videos?
Yeah, no. So you can create, so let's talk community, because that's very different than how you're going to promote, okay? So you have the modern way of creating a community. You put together people on a certain topic, right? And then remember, you're the guide. So how is it the guide? Once a week, you come and you can. Let's say you don't have anything. You don't even have a camera.
And I mean, you can structure
record.
this however a gazillion different ways, okay?
So you say, okay, every Wednesday, I'm going to come with you guys for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. We are going to talk about the topic. Of course, in the back end, you're going to chop that topic into beginning, middle, end, like on anything that we teach, right? And you come on a Monday, you put a Zoom, you put whatever tool you have out there, everybody there together, and you talk about it. And you can record, right, and turn that into a class. So here you go. You have your first class. Next Wednesday, what do? You do the same next part of the topic. And you record and you put there. You can choose to record only yourself. You have the Zoom, the Microsoft. You have tons of platforms that are free.
Prop Talkie, which we'll
You
talk
can
later.
do, oh yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. So you just record and there's your class. That's it. I like this format because, see, you just asked a question that I was not expecting. This makes my course more valuable.
Oh.
Because it is the need of the audience, not what you thought they needed to know.
Yes.
See the difference between a guide and a teacher? Because as a teacher, you think everything that you need to teach and all the things, and it gets overwhelming to you. And that's why most people take 10 years to create a course. I know, I deal with instructors every single day. And at the beginning, we thought the biggest fear is going to be on camera, because we had a studio and everything. And that was not the biggest fear. The biggest fear was to create a course. It's amazing how people overthink things.
So this method works for a variety of reasons. One, like Shahar said, by doing these hangouts with your community, you will soon find what really are their interests or where
they want to
go deeper. Mm-hmm. And so then you don't have to, ahead of time, figure out the curriculum and blah, 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 blah. The second part is, for you as their guide, well, it becomes a lot more manageable. It's like eating the elephant one step at a time. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have all the courses, all the modules, all the videos, everything figured out ahead of time to then launch a community, to then give it to them. No, you do it one step at a time, one bite at a time, each week, week by week, So now you start creating that. So there are multiple
because if you don't want to be on camera, that's a common way, right?
Yes.
You don't have to. I have to tell you that the best thing would be camera and videos, phone and videos, okay?
Easiest to consume.
There is, what you were looking for is the relatability, the rapport with your community. Is your community, right? So the community needs a leader, and the leader needs to show its face. Think about if the president disappears for 3 days and doesn't show on camera, everybody starts thinking he's dead. So it's the same thing, right? You need to be there. But can you do this with PDFs? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Can you just provide patterns? Yes, you can.
Yes.
There are many ways you are going to. I would really test with your audience and say, I'm going that way, right?
But it can be a mix. It's not just videos.
Yeah.
It can be
audios and audios.
You posting questions or topics of interest within the community itself, written once a week or more. Like it can be
when the topic, it doesn't have to be visual. For example, with fused glass, it needs to be visual. If you're doing life coaching, it doesn't have to be visual. So you can create audios, and your phone has a recorder, so you can just create and add that to the community.
Let's say it's
that works extremely well.
A community about manifestation.
There you go. You don't need
you can be on camera, sure, but you can do audios, and then you can figure it out. Okay, some audios that I can provide for them to listen to before going to bed, so that they prime their brains, or what to do in the mornings. So you can really
exercises.
Have fun with
right. Exercise, depending on the exercise, needs to be visual. But many of these, like manifestation, people are going to want to consume the content when they're driving the car. So audio is 10 times better.
Yes.
So you can mix both, right? Because I can mix what you need. Let's say the community. We have to have videos that show you how to do stuff. How do I start my community? How do I put a course? How do I upload this? So you need videos for those. Now, the concept of how you're going to grow, how you're going to market, audio is just fine.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't have to be overwhelmed. Second part of that question, the promotion part. Well, the promotion part, if you're not going to, because those are the two ways you have, right? You either spend money advertising or you do a lot of social media. And that means a lot of social media. But again, they can be 30 seconds each. They don't have to be things explaining. I posted videos about this today. They had about 20 seconds each, right? So yes, you're going to create a larger volume to promote because you need to be there, and there are tons of people out there. There are really millions of people out there. So you have to keep posting. Now you can also mix. So in one of my business, I put a video every single day, and then I put at least a graphic every single day. Because many people, for example, when they are on platforms like Facebook, me included, I don't like to see the reels. I do that on TikTok. I do not do that on Facebook. I do not like it. So if I don't see an aesthetic thing, somebody saying something printed or with a picture, I'm not going to see it. So you have to think about where your audience is. Marketing is very complicated. I'm not here to complicate your mind.
We're not going to go into even now because there's
But that's
so many,
the game if you want to structure a business.
So like Kathy said, this almost, okay. Kathy said, sounds really good, but what if you don't know how to use Zoom, for example? All right, Kathy, this question leads itself really well for me to sell you on something right now. But I am not going to do this at the moment. But there are tools, and honestly, what I would say...
Our tool is very complete.
Our tool is very complete, of course. And I would encourage you to click on that green button below the chat box. But listen, what I actually want to tell you is this. Don't focus on the technology right now, because that is not the time for it. And the technology is getting easier by the day. So don't focus on that right now. Think, okay, what will be my community about? What will be the topic?
Are here.
Yes, and we are here for you. So don't let the technology get in the way, because then you start doing that analysis by paralysis, and then you're like,
the amygdala starts, no, Kathy, but there's a lot of technology and you don't like computers. I know how it is. That's just your mind. Mind doesn't like change. We hate change because we feel safe the way things are, even when they are miserable, even when I don't know how I'm going to pay the power bill. But why? Because my mind knows how to navigate that. Every time somebody proposes you a change, let's create a community, you go,
you start thinking of all the what ifs.
I have to ask my daughter to help me with the phone. So do I. Doesn't matter. That doesn't stop you, okay? What you have to think is, do I have a topic that would entice people to join me? So let's see some topics. So it can be business and entrepreneurship. That's a no-brainer. Financial independence. If you know how to keep the finances on track, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Creative arts, right? life coaching, wellness, and mindfulness, especially specialty skills. I'm going to talk
Oh,
about some
instruments. I
communities,
like to play the
instruments,
guitar
yeah,
or the
how, the
harmonica.
how-to of everything. But completing that, what you were saying, I need to detour. What I see that people do wrong all the time, especially with artists, is that of course they want to look for income in different things. So they have a group on Facebook. Let's say they teach on Curious Mondo, and we have a price point that we sell the courses, and they are not cheap if you compare to my competitors. So they have a Facebook group for them because they decided to. Then they have the Curious Mondo courses, and then they start a Patreon account because people can pay monthly. But then they charge like $10 for the same thing they're charging $100 here, and then they start something else. What happens is, first of all, you're playing on other people's sandboxes all the time,
In other words, no control.
and they are changing because that's what happens online. There is no way of not changing. They have to change according to changes in behavior. And you lose control and you overwork yourself because you have to take care of this group, and then you have to take care of this, and then you have to update that, and then your patron has a question over there, and it becomes a nightmare. And we became used to this kind of behavior because we were sold the false idea that social media is free, right? And social media is very, very complicated to give you return. Very complicated to give you return. So you end up overworking yourself, trying to promote yourself everywhere, and seeing this as a result. Plus, you're scattered. That's the recipe for failure. What you should have instead, and that's what we are offering, is you have one place where you take care of everything, and it has all the tools that you need. So you're not also pay, oh, I'm going to pay MailChimp this much to send emails, and I'm going to pay this much. I know we had to restructure all our business for the same reason. Because when we looked at everything that we had that was amazing, but was costing a boatload of money, say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So we
And
redid all that,
not
and
to
then we
mention
built
that,
that platform.
not to mention that, okay, oh yeah, we're doing a MailChimp here for the emails, and then we have Wix here for the websites, and then we have this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then tomorrow they do an update, and you go in to send
Yeah.
a simple email, and it's like, how do I do it? They changed everything. And then you go over here on Facebook to do whatever with the groups, and they don't have the
Oh.
groups anymore. And it's
You spent
so
the last
frustrating.
6 months creating those group chats, which I hate, by the way, and now no more. They are ceasing to exist 10 days from now, and all your work went down the drain. That's what we are trying to avoid. But let's think about, before we talk about our software, let's talk about the communities that there are out there.
Yes, because yes, you're talking communities, but really, what kind of communities can we have?
Well, there are some that are thriving really well for men.
Yes.
For men, about perfumes.
Oh,
You're not
interesting.
expecting
I
that
was
one.
not expecting.
And
It's not
actually,
on the
there are
slide.
some creators, even on TikTok, selling boatloads of money because of that. And the funny thing is, how do you talk about the scent of the perfume on a video?
Mm.
It's super
It's
incongruent.
like the wine tasting experience.
Booming. A community
Interesting.
for perfumes for men. See, there's no make money involved, nothing like that. It's just a passion. I like to smell good, right? What else?
Pickleball.
Pickleball, one of the biggest sports
'cause
right now.
You got to perfect your skill. You got to know the rules. You got to do this, and
Yeah.
you've got
We
people who are crazy
tried
about
3
it.
times, and Nash damaged her leg. So we
Yes,
haven't,
my calf.
but their communities try anything. How do you play this? How chess and everything like that? Yes, no brainer about that. But what about other unusual communities? What do we have there? Let me see.
So, for example, calligraphy. There is a huge community on calligraphy.
Bourbon, also for men. Whiskeys.
Oh.
What kind? How old? If you have a lot of coin collectors.
Yes, coin
Huge,
collectors.
right? Women going to menopause.
Oh,
There are communities about that
yes.
because it's a big change in our lives. Remember, we hate change, especially that one. Well, everything that I have to do from now on.
I'm terrified of that. I think about it constantly now.
See?
I'm getting to that point.
The over 60 club. So that's another phase because we were trained that we would be useful up to 50 and then retire, and that's it. And that's not what happened with the baby boomers. They don't retire. They don't want to retire. Just a few will retire. There are 5,000 a day that retire. But that's compared to the size of the nothing. So we are still going, and because the baby boomer was terrible at saving, many of us will work unless you, of course, work with us. You can retire, but other than that, my friend, no, is McDonald's in the morning to talk to your friends and then a side hustle. So understand that you have many topics out there, and if you have any questions about one of them, now is the time to ask. But
many topics, mindset, for example, and then if we go into the art world, then you can get very specific, and it opens
yeah,
so much for what you can do.
Any topic related to that usually is good. Now, again, in the art world, you have communities that like to spend more and others that spend less. So with the glass, you can push a little bit. If you're doing crochet and knitting, it's going to be lower, but it doesn't matter. TikTok is going away with their communities because they are restructuring for the new behavior, and but they have several communities where people pay $2.90, something like that a month.
Like $2 a month.
There are tons of people making very decent income with that.
Yes.
So that doesn't stop
and
you
it's
to do the same in your
$2
community.
a month. So just think about the potential.
Like I said, the fun topics like geocaching, birding, hiking, they have to have lower prices, right? But you see, there's room for everybody. Again,
cooking, baking, sourdough, and then you can get specific.
sourdough, yeah.
You can do baking as a whole.
Cottage business.
You can do cottage businesses. You can do just baking, or you can do just sourdough, or you can do if you want to go. Oh yeah, the other thing I love to do, the brewing.
The wine brewing.
And then you can be like fruit brews, or you can be just
how do you do in the winter?
Traditional grape brews, or you can be
using
whatever.
just natural stuff for the wine. I mean, it's never ending.
The potential is out there. You just have to think of what you're passionate about. Really start with that.
So you need to think the income you want to generate with this, the legacy, because you are impacting other people's lives, believe it, and the impact that you cause on their lives, because you do. We have experienced that yourself. And I have to tell you, sometimes business, any business, it gets tough some days. It's how it is, right? And you do think about quitting, but then, you know what impact you have caused over the years, and you think maybe it's worth, let's go. So you impact people. Now, Nash, we talked to them about bringing the story, but now we are going to talk to them about the tools that we bring to the table. So we already said that we not only have the platform, but we have the guide, guiding you to create that. And we have everything in one place, so they don't need to be spending money in several different places. Then they have full control. That includes full control of how much you're going to make. The money that you sell your community or your course comes to you, have nothing to do with us. So you have full control over that as well.
Yes, actually the full control, I would like to take that a step further, because it is something that for us, I find it extremely, as far as my foundational business concepts and beliefs, you need to have control over your business. And so if you followed us before, you know that we have always said this. If you don't have control over your business online, you don't have control over your business. So when Shahar's talking about the platform, which is called Prop Talkie, and talk about control, that you can have control over how much you charge, for example. So if you have your community, you decide how much you're going to charge. You decide even who's going to where you're going to charge them through, if it's going to be PayPal, Stripe, whatever. That has nothing to do with the platform. You have the control over that. But beyond that, you also have control over your data, your contacts. So this is critical.
Important.
The member, your community members, oftentimes it's overlooked in these platforms out there. But that is one of the most valuable things, being able to have full access to them, their names, their emails, their phones, etc. And you do within Prop Talkie, you have that full control. Meaning, hey, if tomorrow you're like, you know what, I don't want Prop Talkie anymore, I just want to do this on my own, you can even do that. You export everyone, and now you can continue on with that business. It's not dependent on a platform. And oftentimes we start these businesses and they're dependent on platforms. And that's kind of a trap that you put yourself into.
And they hide your access to people, because it is interesting.
Exactly.
You cannot let them go if a cheaper one shows up, but you have to be careful with the very cheap to start with. Now, this platform is so powerful. I mean, we put our on the line, right? Because we had the same issue with 500 courses. And for you to have an idea, Our courses are 9 hours long. So the size, the technology behind that is just mind-boggling. Took us 6 months to be able to
Yes.
transition. We have all our courses on that platform itself. Now, you decide just to have communities, that's fine. You decide just to have courses, that's fine. You decide not to do any, but you want to do mastermind groups, so you need the constant communication. You need the community anyway, that's fine.
Yes.
It's not tied to you have to do this and then this and then that. You do whatever you want.
So Prop Talkie is an all-in-one platform to help you do exactly that. You do your communities, you do your courses, and then you communicate with your audience.
Mhm.
So and you can determine, we can get very specific, which we won't right now, so it doesn't get too overwhelming. But you can determine if you want to release content to them on a weekly basis, or everything at once, or
If you want to have a community where you just send emails, I've been
you
to
can
many
do
of
that
those.
too.
Yeah.
Or if you, like Kathy, you weren't sure about doing these gatherings, you can do it within the community itself. And so it's a very robust tool, and the idea is to make it easy for you to get started, implement, and start focusing, so you can focus on the actual community and what you're going to do, how
Yep.
you're going to deliver, how you're going to guide them.
And not let overwhelm yourself. All you need really is, like, 3 people that like the same topic that you do. Let's put them together in this platform for a fee, right? And then start start meeting with them once a week in this in any type of. You said we have that, right? That they
Mhm.
can get together and talk. Record that, and that will slowly become your course. That's it. Or no, 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 I'm not going to do that. I have to have things right, right? Okay, sit down today on your table with your phone and record the what to do. Here's how you start, the first step, and what you need. 3 videos, 2-3 minutes each, tops, tops. You already have part of your course, phase one. You have no idea over the years how many products we put out there that we sold first and deliver later. I think 90% of them. Why? Because if I ask you what makes a restaurant successful, I know you're going to tell me it's the food, location, 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 blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to tell you, no, what makes a restaurant successful is a hungry market. If I do not have a hungry market, it doesn't matter how good the rest is. And that is the trap we all fall into, because we think the other needs my whole course beautiful with all the glitters and whistles, edited by the award-winning editor, blah, 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 blah. When no, I don't need anything of that. Actually, people are not looking for that anymore. And if you're older, you're stuck into that pattern, because we grew up with television, with people wearing ties and looking perfect, and only young people. That doesn't exist anymore. It's dying for a reason. I want to know you. And if your kitchen is not the best, but you're teaching cooking and your cooking is good and you are good, that's all it matters.
Yes.
Right? So stop overcomplicated. You need a hungry market. So you need people interested in the topic that you are willing to share. And that's where you have to focus. The other things you can deliver as you go. Because really, you just need to tell them you're going to get once a week, and then you have recorded to revisit whenever you want. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple, right?
Absolutely. And we have, like Shahar mentioned, alluded to this earlier just a little bit. As you know, we have Curious Mondo, which is a platform that has over 450 courses. Yeah. And we are running it on this very same platform, mm-hmm. Prop Talkie. So
if that doesn't tell you anything,
that, exactly.
Right? So we have tested, and the platform is good for many businesses. But the thing we did, because we have clients, we have restaurants, for example, and other things running the platform. But we are in that moment when you and I, and you, right, of course, that we have passion about topics. That is exactly what people are looking for. And the sense of belonging is becoming more and more important. You all know that that's the base of the Maslow pyramid, but actually it's the top. But what we are living right now is that we became so isolated. And you've been thinking, no, yeah, after COVID, I stayed home. No, that happened with the 18-year-old as well, the 20-year-old. And now they see that they have this gap where they cannot belong. They don't have real friends. And the AI is making that even worse. That's the moment, people, that if you can be a guide that's the moment you need to be a guide. But you can do as most people do, you keep waiting. And then when that is at the top that everybody's doing, you try. But then the noise is so big
Yeah.
that is going to get very difficult for you to get to that. So start earlier. Today, you just see, okay, let's put my knowledge together and see how I can break down small sizes. Think about the elephant. You take the first step, you get the platform, and you're going to, I have a full training on how to create a course. I go very
In
deep.
depth.
So the complicated traditional format, but then you have a 360 view of how it is. But I'm telling you since the beginning that you have to simplify. And we are going to send you videos on how do I create a community, and it's visual. So click here, do this, and do that. So it's not overwhelming, because we know after all these years, most of our audience on Curious Mondo is over 50. We know that technology is the biggest elephant in the room. So let's chop that as well. So you're going to be getting that. And you're going to start doing those 3 friends, those 3 people that you know, come and join. And then later, not now, we are also going to be putting content there for you about the marketing part, because you're going to overthink the marketing and not do the community. We want you to do the community first, right? Because we need to get things going and start thinking long term. Next month, you have your first members to join. Is that okay? We are right at the beginning of 1 month. Next month, you start uh, people joining, right? Think about 6 months, you have the growth that you think, okay, this money can be good. It can, pay the mortgage already. It can be. And then think 1 year, how you scale that, okay? Because some people, they don't, I know there are some people watch that they just want, I don't know, $200-300 extra every month. And others say, no, this could be a business because I would like to retire at some point, right? So let's do it, the full structure. And the platform we will allow you to do both. You want just a couple $100 a month and have a community of people that you like to chat with? Fine. You want to have more? You built in a full business? Fine, right? Because there are many possibilities there. When I'm trying to get people together today, even if I'm going to, and I have a community on Facebook, Brenda, for example, you have this amazing product and can do this amazing thing, but keeping those people engaged with you, especially on a different platform, it's complicated because they have 10 tabs open with 10 other groups that they belong to. Attention is the real currency now. And what you need to be thinking is, how do I get and keep that attention? And we are going to keep this attention, bringing them to us, not bringing them to others. Because those others, they are interested in making money through advertising. They're not interested in making you succeed. Okay, crucial point here. So they are going to distract, they need these people distracted in order for them to buy by impulse. They need them distracted. So they do everything they can for that. Bring them to a place where they can pay attention to you and what you have to say, and then keep them there. That's the
Yes.
secret.
Yes. At the end of the day, what you're going to do is you're going to find your passion, share your passion. You're going to find your people, and then you're going to start earning.
Yeah.
And that's really just breaking it down to just the 3 simple steps.
We are offering you the platform, and
We
we are
offer
going
you
to
the
talk about
platform.
that. We are offering you the guidance in the sense that you are going to be getting emails and videos on how to do the things, right?
Yes.
Naturally, how do they get to know more about the platform?
So on the page where you're watching, there's a green button below the chat box that says "Get Started." If you click there, it'll open a new window where you can read all about it. It's going to take you to proptalkie.com/communities. So proptalkie.com/communities is where you're going to go to. But essentially, there it's going to give you a 14-day trial, because we know right now you're
Not
thinking,
spending money now.
right now you're thinking, okay, what passion, where am I going to focus on? There's so many things that I love. So we understand that process, but you're going to get the 14-day free trial. You're also going to get the course where Shahar talked about, where we go in depth on how to create your course, your content, to figure those things out. We really do. It's a 3-day course, and it is very robust, so it will walk you through that. The platform itself, Kathy, someone said there was a question here from Susan. I'm not following what the platform will provide. Is it simply for us to be guides to our community? The platform itself will take care of the complicated technology stuff, right? Make it easy for you. So yeah, you're literally going to think, okay, what's my community going to be? And it'll create the community for you. That'll be the home for your community, where you're going to have your members, where you're going to then create the courses.
Right, but it's built in the sense of once you get a client, they will stay with you forever, and this is a very powerful concept. So in that platform, you can go as simple or as complicated as you want. So you can have the community,
Yes.
you can have the courses. You got that. You have all the structure for follow up. Communication is crucial, right? Communication is what everybody is expecting from you. So if you want to communicate with them by email, you can. If you can communicate, you want to communicate by text, it has an extra cost there, but you can.
Or even within the
Phone,
community itself,
the
just like a
community
Facebook
itself.
group.
You want to
kind of?
do the meetings where everybody shows and you give a test, it has that. Like I told you, you don't need to go outside for anything, right? So if you're used to any kind of structure to have members paying you, we have that there. And it was tested. Now we are in the second year for that, right?
Yeah.
Not only we
Yeah,
did,
it'll be about 2 years now.
we, like I told you, we have the courses there, we have the restaurants that are our clients, we have investors that have the platform just for investing. So whatever you decide, and through communication we can cater that better for you. It has the power to do it. How much of it you're going to use is up to you, because you have two options on that page that you're going to see. The hobbyist one is maybe you have an interest in taking away smelly feet. I don't know if people will pay for that. So in that case, you may go into the hobbyist one, because it gives you less, of course, but you have time to test that. Or if you already know, I'm a sculptor, I have the glass, you already know your topic can be very profitable, you go with the second one. So you will have more features. The features are there. But then what you're going to do is really, okay, I'm going to start, and I would suggest start with the community thing, because your first goal is to bring 3 people to it, right? And then you will get the videos on it's called Trailblazer, right? You're going to get the emails saying this is how you set up the community. It's simple. We are making it become simpler every single day. So don't worry about the technology. When you look inside, there's a bunch of stuff, and you say, "Oh my gosh, what do I do here?"
Yes, if you just look inside, it can be a little overwhelming even. But our intent, Shahar and I's intent, is essentially to get you set up and going and running as quickly as possible with your community. So our guidance is here for you exactly for that reason. Susan has some other questions that are kind of cool. So Susan asks first, for example, oh, actually, hang on, Susan. Kathy asks, will the video of this presentation be available for us to view again? Yes, we can make that happen.
That's why we love live, and I love the Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, you don't have to pre-prepare. You need to know what you're going to be talking about. So even that thing about creating PowerPoints and using, you can do that, but you don't have to. And this kind of interaction always it brings more to the table.
Yeah,
right?
It adds depth of flavor.
Yep, depth of flavor.
Susan asks, and is the web address customizable, or will it be, for example, mycommunity.proptalkie.com? So Susan, to make it easy, if someone just wants to get started today and have their community, boom, they can pick a name, dogtraining.proptalkie.com, and it will be available. But can you make it Susan's Dog Training? I don't know if that's, I know that's not what you do. .com? Yes, absolutely. So it gets a little bit more technical. We'll have videos on the inside that shows you how to do that, but totally doable.
But it's simple.
It can be completely separate. No one even needs to know you use Prop Talkie.
Yeah.
Right? So when we talk about the control that we talked about earlier, that is part of that control. So
it's not tied to us. So basically, you're going to put the community together in the sense of you know what the topic is about, how to install that, how to make it work. I don't even know either. And then you need to think, okay, if I'm going to be asking money, I need to get paid, right? So then you have to see how you get paid. Is it Venmo? Is it PayPal? Do you have a merchant account? Each case is different and can get complicated, but how do you get the money, right? To make sure they talk together. So when Mark decides to join, he just clicks a button, the money will go to you. But you need to have that. That has nothing to do with us. Again, you
Well,
have full control.
we're the intermediary basically, but you pick who is going to run your collect your money, and
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 then
that's it.
everything else is
Everything
good.
else connect.
We're not the intermediary. We are what
Ah.
makes you in.
We are the engine.
The
We're the engine.
engine.
You pick the oil that you're
Yeah.
gonna use, or
Yeah.
if the gas is gonna be premium or not. But we're the engine.
And you
It's
can
better.
see that the investment is it's super,
Super
low.
low. It's totally doable.
But you can say, oh, but there's somebody that they're doing for less. Yeah, there is somebody there doing for less. Go take a look at what they
But
deliver.
that less will cost you more
Yes.
because, for example, you won't have full access to your members who are really
So
the
you have a
core of
community,
your
but you
business.
cannot really
You have a
reach them.
community, but you really don't have your community members access to them. You can message them every 72 hours. You don't know what their email is, this and that, right? So there's that. Also, well, actually, I'm not even going to go deep down.
Well, but
So-
I can tell you one thing that happens with many platforms for real. So, for example, TikTok, right, is a huge thing right now, and it's even going to become huger. Is there such a word, huger? Well, anyway, sales, the people that have companies that sell on TikTok. Simple, right? Let's say you sell candles. You go to TikTok, you have the shop, and you sell there. If they have to replace a candle, they don't have access to the customer that they sold to. Think about that. They have the hardest time communicating with a buyer. I mean, for me, that's the most obvious thing. I need to be able to stop frustration as soon as possible. Because in any business, sometimes people are going to, I don't know, right? So you have to be able to stop that process as soon as possible. If you're frustrating people, and sometimes we make mistakes and we frustrate, you need to have access. They don't have it. And sometimes they are selling millions of dollars. I'm not talking small businesses. They don't have access. That's how platforms work because, they need the control.
Because control is important. So
we are reverse engineering that.
If control is important for a big, ginormous business, you'd think that it is also important for a small business. But sometimes we overlook that because we think, well, we don't have the budget they have. We don't have the manpower they have. But really, no, a lot of it is just mindset, getting into it and structuring it as a business. Susan also has a couple follow-up questions. And is this only for makers who want to have monthly membership fees? No. Really, Susan, when we're talking about control, this is it. You control your model, really. It can even be if you wanted to just do this and have a free community, you can.
It really, the question is answered by you thinking who is your audience, because you have ages that they don't like membership fees, period. The older generations, for example, they don't like that. The younger generation is very used and conditioned to that, also because usually they don't have the disposable income that the older generation has, or they don't have the same amount of credit cards. So they prefer to pay less and pay monthly. And they are also looking more actively for the belonging. I need people around me than we are, because we know how to be alone, right? You have to take that into consideration. So are you going to put a community there and charge them every month? No, you don't have to. You can just have, for example, the courses, and you sell for a flat fee. You just need to think, how do I scale from there? And at some point in the business, can be a year from now, you need to think, how do I bring recurring income so I don't have to be making stuff all the time?
Yes.
Right?
And if, at some point we'll do a training for our folks exactly on the different models of what you can do, because that's it. You can do a free community where you're just attracting people who are passionate, but then you're selling the different courses.
You may be a chiropractor, for example, that you have your clients and you put them as a community because you like to show them natural ways of taking care of their health. And in that, sometimes you get commissions from the product. That's very common with chiropractors. You get commissions from the products that you sell. You can use the community for that, so you're not even charging them. You're going to make that income in different ways.
So you reverse.
For us, it's the same thing. You have the engine, and you use that engine as you want, for sports, for business, for races. Each personality is different. But you can do combined models, like, for example, you're really making the money with whatever you sell. I would say even the direct marketing company, even though I don't think that's the best option for you, because then you have other rules. but you could be making commissions from products that you sell and have the community just to keep the conversation going. You're going to see the social media in the next 2 years, all of them, they are going to show huge changes.
Mm-hmm.
Even the group format is kind of dying. And there are many reasons behind that, and age is just one of them. But people are over, they are again, we are all burned out and we are getting tired of the online, right? So you're going to see a shift, and you're going to see that many of them, like TikTok, they, which is not really a social media platform, it's an entertainment platform, but it's going to turn into a search engine. And why? Because they are seeing that a year ago people used to spend 2 or 3 hours on social media scrolling and watching videos. Today that has fallen to about half an hour. So that shows that people are changing behavior. The other thing that is showing is the algorithm. They are not showing, they are searching for specific things. Plumbers in Houston, and yeah, on TikTok, or how to do this. They go there for this kind of stuff. So they're stopping the mindless scrolling, because that has done the damage to everybody's brain. But now they are looking for specific things. So you're going to see that shift happening. That's one reason that Facebook is going away with the chat, community chats that they had there, right? So this is going to shift. So even if you have something structured right now that is bringing you income, you have to be careful on how you will continue to do that, because that is going to go. And I studied that all day long. I can tell you that I know where it's going. So you will have changes if you're using just the format of, oh, I give a course and then I put them on a Facebook group, because that's not going to go long term. Got it? Okay.
Okay, a few more questions. Also from Susan, how do you differentiate your platform, I'm assuming Prop Talkie, from being on YouTube? Are you going to also promote your members, your guides, your communities? And if so, where can we learn more about how that will work?
Okay, so the platform is not, it does a lot of marketing for you. But for example, one of the things that you do is if you create a video and you want to go to YouTube and to Instagram and to Facebook, and you want to pre-schedule, PropTalk has that. And you will shoot that video to those platforms with hashtags and everything whenever you want. So, but we are not the marketing part, right? What we are going to do, but it's not going to happen this week, is we are going to start adding videos on our training part that you will have about this, right? Because there are many formats. Like I told you, for example, last year or a year and a half, we were helping a big guru in the land business to structure his business on the American community. He already had in the Brazilian and Spanish community. So we spent a whole year helping him create that community that was paying. Pay attention to this. Each person will pay $40,000 a year to belong to that community. You know how long it would take to get a member? About 20 minutes on the phone. That it was that easy.
Wow.
It's a business opportunity, how people make money. It's easier, right? But same kind of structure. So you can have, what do you think when we mention community? It's not what I think, it's what you think, because it can be different. And that's fine, because the platform can adjust to that, right? So again, we have gurus selling at 40,000 and people selling at $2. It all depends on how you want to structure. Of course, it does involve how much work you're going to put into it, because with the $40,000, he needs to be there for them constantly, right? What do you want to do? I know I am at an age that I don't want to be worked 60 hours a week anymore, period, right? Period. I want to enjoy the time I have left. So I like things that can run on its own. So yes, I record videos every single day, but then I repurpose them and they become classes, they become instruction, they become something, right? I am a content creator, have always been a content creator. So I create content very easily, but then I repurpose. They have to be green, in the sense, evergreen, in the sense that they don't die tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see Shahar, for example, doing communities about a software, because those change. I don't want to do the work, but they can be very profitable.
So a couple more questions. One from Kathy. Speaking of selling, will there be a platform for selling items? Kathy, this is, I don't want to go deep into this in the sense that it'll detract a little bit from from what we're offering, but Prop Talkie does give you the option to sell products. So we have two plans. So if you click on Get Started and go to or proptalkie.com/communities, you'll see that there are two plans. We have the Explorer plan that'll basically get you started with the community, the course, unlimited members, boom, done. You can email them. And then we have the Trailblazer plan, which has all of those things, but also what we consider growth tools, marketing tools. And in that, you have, for example, websites and funnels that you can do if you wanted to go down that road. So the ability to do that is there. So just pick which plan is for you.
Do I have a business that sells products on Prop Talkie?
Do I have a business that sells products?
I'm going to go there and get one.
Oh yeah,
because
okay.
they're
I was wondering
not...
what she was talking about. So,
Brenda will like that.
So wait, really quickly, just to go back a little bit to Susan's question about the Prop Talkie. Think of this as the engine. I really like that metaphor. So, like for example, you have Toyota and then you have Lexus. Ultimately, they both have the same engines, and you don't really know, right? Prop Talkie is there to power that community for you. But then you can modify it however way you want it. You can make it luxury, or you can just whatever.
So one of the things I have from Prop Talkie is a company that makes cookie and clay cutters. So people that decorate cookies and people that do polymer clay. So I create the designs. So these are products. This one sells, I think, for $8. This one sells for $4.60, and I put on that platform, and the sales come through them. Yes. The simple answer is
because
yes.
You can have the store easily there, but then you connect it with your PayPal account, your Stripe, or whatever. So yes, a simple answer. Debbie said, "Love you two ladies." Well, thank you, Debbie. I think you both are just brilliant. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Good to hear that. Some days I need to hear that. Because
I've been a huge Curious Mondo fan from day one of its creation. I'm interested in this platform, but my question is, what if you are living on a very tight financial resources, Social Security, for example, and have little to nothing to invest in the big project? Is this doable?
How many friends do you have? Do you go to a church? Where do you find people that you talk about what you like to do? Well, I want to reverse engineer the thought, because there's the term paucity and there's the term abundance. I can look and say, oh, I live on a structured salary, whatever it is, Social Security, whatever it is. You're thinking, I don't have enough. I would shift that to, okay, I live on this. I'm very grateful and blessed to be living out of this, but I want to have something that will bring me more. Okay, because if you don't shift that, you are always thinking you don't have what it takes. I think we have to see ourselves. I like to see myself, maybe because I'm an immigrant, but I like to see myself as a mutt dog. You know, those street dogs? There's nothing more resourceful than one of those animals. They manage to live without family, without money, without a bath all their lives. And they find the food and they find what they need, and they are happy at the end of the day. They will wag the tail for you. I think we need to become like them. So you have the resource and the tools. So you don't have money to put on advertising. Guess what? You probably have a phone because you're watching this from someplace. Well, make videos and post on social media for free. But instead of making 2 or 3, make 10. And how do you do that? Well, you sit down and you say, hey, I have a community on how to make makeup over 60, and I can teach you how to look prettier. That's it. Hey, have you joined my community where I teach people about how to make beautiful faces after 60? Join my community now. Hey, did you know that you shouldn't use very bright colors after 50? I can show you how to have the most beautiful eyes. Just join my community. Video done. Hey, did you know you shouldn't put blush on a round thing after you're 60? I know it used to be cool. It's not anymore. Let me show you how. Hey, there is Korean makeup now for people over 60, and I can show you how to have a perfect face if you're thinking about going dancing this week. Join my community. That's how you make 20 videos a day. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit more work in the sense of making stuff that doesn't cost you money. And you're not going to edit anything. You put like that. If you make a mistake and you stumble, I stumble on words all the time because not my native language. Guess what? It goes like that. because people want real. We don't want to look like an AI,
Mhm.
right? We don't want to look perfect. Okay? Do that. So you're going to use social media more frequently to attract those people. So yes, it is doable, but you will have to put, it's not magic, it's just doable. You will have to put the work in the sense of you're going to use the free tools. So I have built more than one business just using social media. I actually, to this day, don't spend a lot of money on advertising because when you go into that game, you have to have the budget, right? So I use a lot more of social media for all the businesses. I have videos for the cookie cutters every single day as well. But I do like that. Sometimes I change the wall or I put another blouse so they don't all look good. Sometimes I do just the face, sometimes I put at the end of the table. That's it. And it works. It works better than what you used to think was necessary to show you're a professional. What shows that you are a professional is the obvious knowledge that you have. That's it.
That's it. All right. Susan said, so speaking of changes, are you guaranteeing that we'll always have access to and ownership of our members?
Yes.
100%.
That we can assure.
100%.
If we both die and something happens to the platform, I don't know, but we don't plan. I plan to be here for at least 10 more years.
10 years is nothing. That makes me nervous every time you say that.
It makes me nervous too.
Look, Susan, you have full access over your contacts, your members, and your courses. You can export everything and back it up. Of course, the responsibility is yours to back them up.
If they get angry or whatever, and people get angry because that's what they like to do, you will deal with that. It's customers. And you have easy customers and difficult customers. Yes. That's part of a business.
But you have control. So like going on with the engine, we're the engine. You build the car, the community, how you build it and who you put inside, it's 100%.
I mean, as long as you don't do anything illegal in your community, we're not going to put our nose there. But it needs to be legal. I mean, it's worth talking about it, right?
Yes.
Because it's not us, it's the FTC. And the FTC controls everything that happens online. So, of course, addictive substances is a no-no. I would not suggest you do one on guns. You can, but it is very tricky. And teaching people how to cure themselves by natural stuff is a tricky field.
To kill themselves?
No, to heal.
Oh, wow. Shahar, that got dark.
No, but it is a more complicated field. It's not that it's not allowed.
Yes, and pornography.
Pornography is also not the thing here. So I hope none of you are into those topics.
Kim asks, is Prop Talkie something that you have created, or are you running this through Prop Talkie that already existed? So Prop Talkie, we have an engine ourselves, but we built that engine specific to how we see business and how it should be. And that is what we're offering to you. So yes, there is a ginormous company behind it that's constantly developing and making it better. But then we bring our expertise and our tools and shape it to be exactly what we believe.
So everything that you will ever see there, Nash created or implemented. Because of course, we are not going to talk about this, but there are AI features that you can use as well. So somebody else built that. We are not AI programmers. And then we add that. But just for you to think, a platform that can host just from one company 500 courses with 10 hours each, it has to be a huge engine because that part is very, very complicated.
That is how we know that this, our Curious Mondo was our proof of concept within this platform. And so that it runs and powers that entirely. So yeah, if we can do it on a Curious Mondo scale, we can do it on any scale.
And the structure that you see is also ours. Inside, there's something inside that is, for example, specific for communities and courses. All this is created by Nash.
Yes.
So it makes it easier for you to use.
Kathy said, you ladies are such great instructors. Well, thank you. Thanks for this. I will look into it. P.S. I love Curious Mondo.
Yeah.
Susan said, thank you, and I appreciate your candor. I've always enjoyed Curious Mondo. It's good to hear that we can export to other socials. Yes, and there are other features. We're not going to go into it, but we even have a social media calendar in the Trailblazer plan. So you can even...
You have everything you need there for sure.
You have everything you need, exactly.
And again, we sell courses because not only creating them, it's selling, right, every single day. So we know everything that you need. I think you need to do three things now. You need to think about the topic or topics that
Passion.
you could create either a community or a course. We brought them together, but you can have them separate. For example, if you don't like monthly fees, you can go only with courses. And then you pick the plan that you want. One of them is for you, right? And third, you sit down because you're going to start getting instructions on how to use them. And we are going to communicate to see what you want exactly, because it is important, right? I need to know if you want a community or course, and then we'll go from there, one bite at a time. You're not going to get everything at once. If you go, you can click as much as you want there, but you're going to get overwhelmed because it's a very structured thing. You can go and take a look, but then wait, because the communication will come in the sequence that you need, not that you want, right? And then we go from there, and we will have, meets and bounds in the sense of how are things going, what else you need to get this going. Okay, you will not have extra costs or mystery costs happening unless you decide to use features like sending text, other things that you have to pay no matter what. It's not for us. But other than that, no. And the fourth thing you need to think is how you're going to get the money. Do you already have something or not? And then we can go from there.
By that you mean like
do you have PayPal? Do you have Venmo, Zelle?
Yes.
How do you get your money?
But all in due time.
Yeah, it's not even for now. Now is the
Yes.
topic, the platform, so we can
Yes.
get things started.
So pick your plan. You have 14 days free trial. So really no worries right now, right? So
Yeah.
pick the plan that works for you today, Explorer or Trailblazer. And remember, you're going to click on the Get Started button below the video, and that takes you to proptalkie.com/communities. But pick your plan, make sure that you're in the trial, that you have it. Then think of the topic. Okay, which one of my passions are we going to do this with? Start with.
Start with one. Don't try.
Yes.
I know you're thinking, oh, Brenda probably think I can do this and I can do that. Yeah, you can.
Start with
You're
one.
going to start with one.
Uh-huh.
Think about the one that could be more profitable.
Yes.
More amount of people around there.
Then you're going to start getting access to our training, where we're going to show you exactly how you can structure and things like that. And you're going to go a step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, and when are you watching that training? Because like I said, it is an in-depth training. We went 3 days talking about it. You're going to understand everything about courses. Your homework and we are going to be talking about tools, by the way. I need to have that disclaimer. At that time, we didn't have PropTalk.
PropTalkie did not exist then.
So then we were using other tools. You don't need any of them.
About various tools. Ignore them all.
Yeah, really, because we have it.
But the concepts, however, the reason we debated this a lot, we left them there because the concepts themselves, the strategies are important.
Yeah, and we talk about the marketing part and the selling part as well.
Yes.
But don't let it get overwhelming, because again, people have changed and now we need to simplify. But that gives you a deep scope on all the structures that you could create within a course and how to sell them. But ignore the tools and think, okay, how do I simplify all this? That's what I want you to do. Cool.
Yes, cool.
We talked a lot.
One last question from Susan.
Okay.
Would we need a separate website? Susan, do you need a separate website? No. But then it would have the PropTalkie domain name attached to it. So remember, susansdogtraining.proptalkie.com. So it can be that, or it can be your own. So it can be your domain name that you would just connect. But hey, remember, 3 steps: pick the plan, figure out the topic, the passion that you're going to be the guide for of your community, and then we'll worry about the implementation as we go, because it's not complicated. There's just a lot of small things that can get overwhelming. It's like, what do we do?
And don't get stuck in old formats, right? Because you may think you need a website, but what you probably need is a page to sell either your course or your community. Why? First of all, because bringing traffic to a website is not easy and it's not inexpensive. Second, most people today are going to an AI like ChatGPT and asking a question. So what you need is to have a page that answers those questions and sells something. And that PropTalk does.
Yes.
You may buy the domain
so
if
buy
you
the
don't
domain
want.
Name.
Yeah, and that's it. Because really, the concept of having a website, it's a whole thing in itself, and it's not working well for anybody, right? That's why even Amazon is selling on TikTok right now. Think about that. If they are doing that, you have to stop and think. Maybe it's an old format. you do need a page to sell, like you are seeing the one with the communities. It answers a question, may have a video, but that's about all. And that you can have on Prop Talk.
All right, proptalkie.com/communities.
Communities.
Go there, pick your plan, 0 risk.
14 days.
14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. You have full control of your business. You can always export your contacts, your members, everything. So it's a no-brainer. And you have us.
Woohoo!
I think it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Well,
there are people that do call me and say, do you want to have a lunch?
Oh, yes.
Right?
She's giving me a hint to stop talking because that did happen right before, and she's going to go have lunch with a friend.
Yeah. But again, people, let's change that story because, again, doesn't matter where you are now. And I do understand about ups and downs in life more than you think. I rebuilt my life 3 times from nothing. So I understand the scarcity of resources. But again, think like a street dog. They always find a solution for things. They don't require to have a structure, a house, the owner, the food on the bowl, anything. And they go with life wagging their tails in happiness. We can rewrite whatever is the story right now. It will need your attention in the sense of choosing a topic and picking a plan. But from there on, we are going to build this as far as you want. Small business, big business. We have it all because we've done that before.
That's right.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Again, I am Shahar.
I'm Nash.
And I hope to see you on the next page.
Yes, proptalkie.com/communities.
See you next time.
See ya.
I turned off my computer. It's really over.